So in this video, we're going to be talking about the State of the Union address. It happened last night. Trump addressed Congress and the nation, and we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. Now, my plan is that this is not going to be a long video. I don't have a ton to say, but there are a few things I wanted to address, and this is my medium to address these things. All right, so first thing to address, the big red elephant in the room, Donald Trump. Very divisive figure. If you know me and you've known some of my history, which you probably don't know watching this vlog, maybe you do. I'm not a huge fan of Donald Trump. I did not vote for Donald Trump. And I think that some of the stuff that he's done is okay, and a lot of the stuff that he has done is not great. But I just needed to get that out of the way so that you have a clear vision of where I'm going with this. And if you want to know my kind of political philosophy, I did a video on that a couple videos back, so I'll leave the link to that in the description, or link it up in the iCards or whatever. But needed to get that out of the way. Second thing we can get out of the way is the State of the Union address itself. Not a huge fan of the State of the Union address. I'm not a huge fan of celebrity status for politicians, and I feel like that's what something like this promotes. That being said, I do think it's a good way for the president to address the nation, going above the heads of the media, which have given Trump a pretty bad rap. So now that we got that cleared up, let's just jump into it. All right, guys, so big takeaway number one is the narrative. The narrative that Trump is a racist, sexist, homophobic, Russian puppet, all these narratives that the media put out about Trump that I've always found very suspicious. This speech definitely shows a side of him that the media aren't willing to show, which again, I think is the correct way to use this kind of a platform, is to debunk narratives that people have based on the media. So not only did he celebrate women, celebrate African Americans, he celebrated low unemployment rates for minorities. He touched on a lot of issues that the media would make you think he is completely against. He did touch on the border wall, and that's probably the next thing we'll talk about. But I do think he did a great job at destroying the media narrative on him. And if you're still out there thinking, man, this guy's just racist, how can you believe anything that he says? Obviously, he's just saying this, and then he's dog whistling back to all the racist people. I think you're the one that has a problem more than he does. All right, with all that being said, that brings us to observation number two, and that is on the border wall. Now, yes, Trump did hit the border wall. He did hit border security, just like everybody expected him to. But I think the thing that's lost in a lot of coverage on this is the moderation that Trump has done since his campaigning. A lot of people still want you to think, and obviously the media still wants you to think, that he's advocating for a full 30-foot concrete border wall across the entire southern border. And as many of us knew, Trump wouldn't really push that. We assumed he would moderate that position, and he has moderated that position. So what was he talking about during the State of the Union? He was talking about border fencing, similar to what we already have in strategic locations designated by Border Patrol themselves, and then using funding to help secure the border on the basis of crime. And the next thing he hit on was legal immigration above the levels that we have now, as long as it's done legally, of course. The big issue I still have is that we need easier and better ways to do that legal immigration. I'm not necessarily for the full comprehensive immigration reform. Maybe that's where we're at now, but I really think we should focus on letting the people that want to come here and work and be productive in society, let them get here easier, so that we can make it harder for the people that aren't looking for those things. But again, if you're just looking at the media narrative this morning, it was all about Trump pushes for the border wall and stuff like that. They don't talk about the fact that he's moderating his position and that he is in favor of legal immigration. Also, one thing that I should say is that if you don't agree with me politically, that's cool. I actually think that having both very conservative, very liberal, and everything in between political people, political classes is very important to democracy and very important to our culture. Where I really tend to disagree is leftist politics and like socialism, communism, but we can discuss that more later. This is about the State of the Union. All right, and takeaway number 3 has to do with the speech itself, the length of it. I think that it was an hour and a half or so long. I think the last 20 minutes was probably the best parts of the speech, where he was most forceful, where people would resonate the most with his speech. I think some of the best parts were looking back at how great America has been and the good things that we've done in this world, and trying to push not just the political class, but America as a whole to become great like that again. I think it's a great message. It's a message that Americans need to hear and would love their president to espouse even more, which if Trump continues with this type of rhetoric, this type of notion, I think that he'll do very well in 2020 if he continues to harp on things like his investigation or other things. I think that he'll continue to do bad. All right, well, that's all I got. If you guys are interested in hearing a full breakdown, the full hour and a half of the speech broken down and what I think, leave me a comment down below. Let me know. I don't know if I would actually even do that, but if it's something that a lot of people are interested in, I would consider it. If you want a response on the response, which I did not watch, I'll check it out and respond to that. Just leave me a comment down below. And thanks for watching, guys.